What is up, everyone? Welcome to another video. And Bitcoin has hit an all-time high in these countries right here. Okay, so we're talking Argentina, don't know how to say this, Burundi, Congo, Egypt, Ghana, Japan, Laos, Lebanon, Malawi, Nigeria, Pakistan, Sierra Leone, Sudan, and Turkey. Okay, and look at the chart for Argentina. Look at the chart for Argentina. Look how incredible. This is what hyperinflation looks like. And if you're wondering, if you're sitting here right now still and you're still asking yourself, does Bitcoin have value? What is Bitcoin's value? You don't need to look past this chart. If you are Argentinian and you owned Bitcoin, this is now what you get to wake up in the morning and see as your country's currency hyperinflates, your asset increases in value. Essentially, I don't want to say one-to-one, but that's kind of the effect. It increases in value with the hyperinflation. So it protects you against government overreach, government intervention. It protects you from counterparty risk. Every other asset on the planet has counterparty risks except for Bitcoin. And so what gives Bitcoin value? It's the ability to hold the Bitcoin and have your net worth increase as the fiat currency that the country you're living in decreases. Okay, so even here in Japan, the yen hit a new all-time high. We haven't hit a new all-time high here in the States yet, but we're getting close. And this is really, if you look at this chart, this is really the long-term picture or vision that most fiat currencies are going to follow. This is just what it looks like. There's no top here because there's no bottom for fiat, right? So what I mean by that is fiat, because you can print infinitely, there's really no end in sight. All right. And so what gives Bitcoin value is really a few things, right? I think the biggest thing and the easiest thing for me is that Bitcoin is a borderless asset. Okay. What does that mean? It means that you could send Bitcoin to anyone in the world and you don't have to ask permission. Okay. And you can actually do it. Okay. You can't send gold to anyone in the world unless you have a plane or unless you have a ship, right? And even then you still need permission. You still need to get across physical borders to get that gold to someone. Okay. If you want to send gold in the form of a security, you can't do that over borders either. I was just going to say here, you can't send Facebook stock to someone in Argentina. And in fact, you can't even send US dollars to someone in Argentina without permission. But you can send Bitcoin to anyone in the world at any time without anyone's permission. And the supply is capped at 21 million, which means the asset is really built to increase in value. The only two things that need to stay intact for Bitcoin to essentially take over the financial world is it needs to, one, stay decentralized, and two, stay secure. As long as it stays decentralized and secure, Bitcoin wins, because Bitcoin is the only asset in the world that has no borders that you can send to anyone. You can't do that with anything else, okay? So like I said, if you're living in Argentina, Bitcoin has value, okay? I promise you, Bitcoin has value if you're living in Argentina. Let's go ahead and check out what it looks like if you're living in Turkey. So let's say Turkey, there we go, Turkish lira. What does it look like? It looks very similar to what it looks like in Argentina. These are the charts that we're going to see eventually in first world countries with Bitcoin, because this is just what fiat's designed to do. Fiat is designed to be printed into oblivion, and Bitcoin is the black hole that catches that value. Okay, so if you're still questioning if Bitcoin has value, here's a chart. I think this should really help that Bitcoin has hit new all-time highs in all of these countries. And this chart in the Argentinian chart should really be extremely sobering, right? Because, like I said, Bitcoin is a borderless asset that's secured by cryptography via proof of work and is decentrally controlled, which means you don't have to ask any single person's permission to send value. And then the fiat financial world is actually secured by violence via the military, and it's a centrally controlled ledger where everyone has to ask permission in order to send money, right? There's no way outside of cash, outside of just being, right next to somebody, that you can give somebody value without permission. Okay. And that's why Bitcoin, no matter what Jamie Dimon says about it, no matter what Peter Schiff says about it, no matter what Warren Buffett says about it, they simply are misunderstanding the technology, or they realize that this technology is going to break what they do, right? So Bitcoin's clearly disrupting banking. It's clearly disrupting gold as a store of value asset. Okay, it's clearly disrupting traditional investing, traditional cash flow fiat investing. Everyone's misunderstanding what Bitcoin is. And the easiest way to think of it is it's a borderless digital asset that can be sent to anyone at any point without anyone's permission. And that's going to change the world. That concept, this is the first time in human history that we've ever had an asset that's borderless, that you can send to anyone in the world at any time with no one's permission. You couldn't do it with gold. You can't do it with the US dollar. You can't do it with Facebook stock. And the reason why is all of these assets too, another reason, I shouldn't say the main reason, but another reason why is they're overseen by human beings, and if human beings are relied on for the integrity of a system, that system essentially only has so much time in it, because human integrity is not something that should ever be relied on. So we shouldn't build our systems around is the human going to really do what's best for the whole? The human always does what's best for himself, right? Humans are inherently selfish, okay? And so Bitcoin's actually designed to take advantage of this human design flaw. The incentives around Bitcoin are designed to, it secures the network the more selfish people get, okay? There is no incentive to work against the rules of Bitcoin, okay? Whereas in the fiat world, all of the incentive is for the person who controls the ledger, okay? Whoever controls the ledger controls the system. Whereas in Bitcoin, the system's not controlled by any one person, so therefore no one person controls the system.